This week's episode is brought to you by Fairy Godmother Travel. Want to travel anywhere in a Disney park location? Contact Fairy Godmother Travel and tell them Communicore Weekly sent you.
Communicore Weekly. Wanna get geeky? Bob around boats and five-legged goats. Communicore Weekly. You might get some freaky. Waiting all week. I'm sure you already know this. Greatest online show. Welcome to season 3.
Hello and welcome to Communicore Weekly, the greatest online show and home of the world's first pair of independently born identical twins. I'm George.
And I'm Jeff. What up, George?
Oh, nothing much. Just waiting to record the show. Well, I guess we're in the middle of it.
Well, yeah. You don't have to wait anymore. I already hit the record button.
That's true.
It's happening now.
That's true. Wow.
Right now.
This could go on for a long time.
It could go on for a long time. You know what? The last episode was really long. Why don't we skip the jibber jabber and just go right into the episode?
Our patented trademark banter?
Trademark banter? Ding!
Great, another form I have to fill out now.
Yes, it is. No, it isn't. It's a debate. Who's gonna win it?
So it's been a while since we've done a Disney debate, and with the recent news about Frozen taking over the Maelstrom attraction in the Norway Pavilion at Epcot, it's in the Norway Pavilion.
It's in the Norway Pavilion.
We figured we'd give it a little discussion on the show, not to beat a dead polar bear, or a dead troll. But you know,
that was very clever, George.
Every once in a while, lightning strikes. And I wish it would strike right now. We want to talk a lot about, get a discussion out there, and of course we'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Don't forget to call the goat line. We'll have not right now. Wait till after, please listen. But I wrote an article about it, and it got a lot of comments and a lot of heat on Twitter, good and bad. And so we just wanted to talk about a few things. And you know what? The basis for my article was, a lot of people are angry about this, and really hate to bring this up, but they should just need to let it go, because it's gonna happen, no matter how much we complain, or send tweets, or get upset about it on Facebook. Frozen is coming to the Norway Pavilion. We know it.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, it's coming. We know that. We can't stop it. But what are your thoughts about it actually taking over Maelstrom?
Well, yeah, I kind of...
You skirted around the issue.
I did skirt around it in the issue. Not a lot of people brought that up, which interested me.
Which is why I'm bringing it up now, because I know no one else did.
Yeah.
Jeff Heimbuck asking the hard-hitting questions.
We need a sound effect. Dun, dun, dun. But... I don't think it's a good fit. I would like to sit here and say World Showcase needs to stay as it is, just like I would like to have seen Future World stay. I loved Horizons, but obviously the ridership wasn't there. The Maelstrom ridership is not there. I don't know the last time I waited more than 5 minutes to ride one of the premier attractions in World Showcase.
Can I make a counterpoint?
Well, wait a minute. When last time I rode it was when we did the live show in 2012, and I've not had the interest or the need or the desire to go back and see it or ride it again.
Fair point.
So go ahead.
I will disagree about the ride waiting time. There are some off days, yes, where it is a very short line, but I think for the most part, and maybe this is just because if it's a slow moving ride and don't have a lot of boats, but I think the ride time or the wait time is generally pretty high for that ride, mostly because it's literally the only thing back there ride-wise that people can do.
No, it's right next to the Grand Fiesta Tour.
Exactly. It is. That one's usually a walk-on. Every once in a while, that'll have a very long wait time. But, I think the ridership for that ride is still there. However, I think the money for maintenance for that ride is not there, and that plays a huge factor into the entire thing.
Yeah, you had a great article in 2012 where you talked about the Norway Pavilion.
How timely, 2012.
Yeah, the Carousel of Progress and some other areas of Walt Disney World that just weren't being taken care of, and
including Maelstrom.
Yeah, the Norway Pavilion, the host countries or the conglomerations for Norway stopped funding it shortly after it opened. Not shortly, but a few years after it. And then in 2002, the country of Norway stopped funding it itself. They were throwing about $200,000 a year to it. So for 12 years now, it has been funded by Disney specifically. So it's not had a lot of maintenance done to it. It's not had a lot of work, nothing redone. And it is showing its age. It's showing its wear. When we saw the changeover from El Rio de Tiempo to the Grand Fiesta Tour, it had a lot of people yelling, a lot of people upset about it, but not like this. And I wonder if just because the characters from the Three Caballeros are a little more Disney, or because it still kept a lot of the theme of visiting Mexico, whereas this is going to be a fictional country that you're going to go visit and see.
Granted, this fictional country does borrow a lot of the same elements from Norwegian culture, but it's still a fictional country that's going to be set amongst the World Showcase of actual real countries, which to me kind of degrades the entire point of the World Showcase.
Yeah.
May I throw out a suggestion, an armchair Imagineering, if you will, which now they'll never do. But if they're going to add Disney characters to these World Showcase countries, they should go all out and do it for all the countries at that point then.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I mean, that would make sense at that point, and not just have, here's France, here's China, here's Canada, here's Frozen Land?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I don't think it's the best. Personally, I think there are other things they could have done. Could they get the ridership back up, if anything? I mean, a lot of comments that we've seen, and a lot of the comments on the article, the comments on Facebook, the comments on Twitter, really people are passionate about this. They're really thinking about it, and they know it's coming, and they're trying to internalize it.
Yeah.
A lot of great comments, or a lot of people said, Frozen is a flash in the pan. It's going to be gone. We won't hear about it in a few years. They're comparing it to the American Idol attraction, and you can almost go to any elementary school child and they know this movie by heart. There are teenagers that have associated with the movie. There are parents or grown-ups that have sat through this movie, that it has touched them in some way. This movie's not going anywhere.
It's definitely resonated with this, the culture, our culture right now, for whatever reason that may be. So I don't see it as a flash in the pan either. Granted, I agree, Tangled is a better film, but for whatever reason, Frozen has gotten the critical and financial acclaim, and it hit a chord somewhere with all these people. So it makes financial sense for Disney to do this. Do I agree with this? No. But does it make sense? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the waits for Anna and Elsa have been hours at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. It's been crazy how long people were willing to wait. So imagine an attraction in a theme park that most kids don't enjoy because it's too spread out. There's not enough excitement. There's not enough characters or IP that they can touch, that they know about. So I personally think this is one of the best things Disney could do to revitalize, to get people coming back to World Showcase, sort of like putting Cars Land, at Disney California Adventure. I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying there's a similarity there where you're going to bring a lot of attention. I mean, when we were there for the Communicore, what did we do at DCA? We rode Radiator Springs Racers.
Yes.
And we did do California Screaming because that's a fantastic roller coaster. And that's about it.
We wandered around DCA. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love wandering around DCA. But it's beautiful. Obviously, Cars Land was a way to get people into DCA, much like creating a Frozen attraction is a way to get people into Walt Disney World, period. That's why they are continuing to do all these Frozen summer-themed things and, nighttime stuff. I mean, it's insane. It's making them money. People are paying for it. Of course, they're going to continue to do it.
Yeah. And when you look at, I made a comment about the Disney Parks blog being really positive, and a few people did call me, which I should have mentioned in the article, that it is moderated.
It is heavily moderated.
It's curated, so the negative comments didn't get through. There were over 60 comments, And a lot of them, and I'm doing a big generalization here, were parents and grandparents that were truly excited to be able to take their children down there to experience this. And that's what Disney's about.
Yeah.
It's about creating these family memories. It's about doing this. You're going to have huge waits. That side of it's going to be great for the Canada Pavilion for grown-ups drinking.
Heck yes, it is.
They're going to stay away from Norway because of the crowds, and they're going to go start in Mexico and drink over there. I mean, Canada. They're going to start in Canada and drink on that side. So,
sounds like a good idea, eh?
You know, maybe we should get Martin Short to sing some more songs.
Hey, whatever.
Hey,
so
maybe.
Closing thoughts. What are your closing thoughts?
Well, it's coming. It's inevitable. It may not be the best thing, but you know, we're not in charge of the Disney company, and they're going after the people that are spending money.
Yes.
And the people that love Frozen right now are spending money, and this is just what's going to happen. I'd like to see them, you know, put, you know, Marshmallow as the Yeti in Expedition Everest. I think that'd be a great changeover for that
I think that'd be hilarious, to be honest with you.
But, you know, I think it's a good idea for Disney for their bottom line. It's going to change Epcot permanently. We can't go back now. And we'll never go this way again. I know it's a bad line.
It was terrible.
Minute, so.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was terrible. So I'm okay with it. I will ride it, see what it looks like, and you know, we'll make a judgment once we see it. But I bet it's going to be really well done.
I'm sure it's going to be incredibly well done. I mean, just as a point of reference, you guys know we usually never do topical things on the podcast. We always talk about historical stuff. But I think, you know, this topic kind of warranted a discussion, at least, just because so many people are talking about it and, you know, against the idea or for the idea, and we just wanted to provide some kind of level-headed commentary, I guess, as to why it makes financial sense, even though we don't necessarily agree with the idea.
Yeah, if they're going to make any changes, it's probably one of the best things Disney could do for themselves.
Yes,
just to get the money there. Yeah.
As for this segment, I believe it's time for us to let it go.
But please, we want to hear from you. So give us a call on the Communicore Weekly Goat line at 424-785-4628. That's 424-785-GOAT, and tell us what you think, good or bad, about Frozen taking over the Maelstrom.
He's a nerd, he's a geek, but we all like to hear him speak. So listen up to the words from his beat. It's George's Book of the Week.
Okay, this week's book is Warp Book 2, The Hangman's Revolution by Ian Colfer. The book was released this summer, and I was so thrilled to get my hands on it. The first book, we reviewed it on the show a while ago, The Reluctant Assassin, really impressed both of us. And when we reviewed it, we sort of talked about some of our favorite aspects of the book because it's got time travel.
Oh, yeah.
Yay. It really is an ingenious setup that Colfer created for this new series. And, you know, after the ending of The Reluctant Assassin, you've got these great characters and time travel. We really wondered, where is he going to take it in the future? That's what I wanted to know.
Yes. So Colfer has actually been one of my favorite authors since his Artemis Fowl series, which to me has always been like the anti-Harry Potter, which to me I thought was pretty great. So I was really excited when he was starting this new series. And, you know, like George said, the first book really kind of blew me away. It didn't disappoint. So this book actually picks up where the last one left off, and we quickly learn that time travel kind of has a lot of consequences, whether or not, you know, you are aware of the direct cause of them, or that changing future or not. And it's, you know, it's a really interesting premise that he creates, and it kind of had me rereading the ending of the original book just to kind of refresh my memory.
Yeah. So basically the premise of the Warp, which is a witness relocation program, it's the FBI using time travel to, you know, take a person of note or a witness in a court case or someone that needs to be protected, and they spirit them to the past so they'll be safe. So
Genius
they can't
idea,
be killed.
by the way.
Yeah. And, you know, as we find out in the first book, strange and undesirable things happen when things get all wibbly-wobbly, you know, with that timey-wimey stuff. The Hangman's Revolution starts off pretty strangely, and I felt a huge disconnect with the book, almost to the point where I was like, this is not even Colfer's style at all. And I'm a huge fan. You know, like Jeff, I've read all the Artemis Fowl books, loved them. So I was pretty surprised at the first 40 pages. It was really strange. It was really hard to get through them for me.
Yeah.
So, but It could have been on purpose for what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I definitely think it actually was on purpose because it kind of throws you off a little bit because in the same way, the main character, Chevy, she is kind of out of place and out of touch with, the world that she returns to. So she's disoriented, so it works that you kind of are disoriented as well. So, because of the events of the first book, a lot of things in the second book, when she comes back, have changed. And she kind of remembers things very differently, like we do, because we were confused. So we're both confused. So it definitely made me, as a reader, fit into her shoes a little more. And, things kind of picked up after, like, page 40 or so, and it really... The story built a lot of steam, and it regained its footing again, and it really became this really fantastic time-traveling adventure all over again.
Yeah, it did. One of the things I liked, there were quotes at the beginning of each chapter by Charles Smart, the inventor of this form of time travel, and it helped sort of ground the story for me and, sort of point out, time travel may not always be safe or smart. And they were always kind of Doctor Who-ish references, which I thought was a great tie-in. In addition to Chevy, we run into King Otto in his Rams. The main character from The Reluctant Assassin, Riley, is back. And of course, well, not of course, but there were some Thundercats.
Ho!
Wow, we didn't even plan that.
No, we didn't. I'm glad we both went for that. That's great.
That was good. So,
but yeah, I mean, Thundercats aside, there are a lot of pop culture references for a book that takes place in 18th century
1899 I
think, Victorian
like
London. It's kind of interesting because the antagonist of the piece is this character Box, who is actually from the future, and we read about him in the first book, and he goes back into the past and he accidentally sees the main characters while they're doing the events of the first book, which causes him to set the events of the second book in motion, and he kind of creates this empire around him in this future technology that he brings to Victorian London. And it's just, I know, it's a really interesting premise. And I was kind of, it was interesting. The guy, Box, creates this religion about himself, essentially. And to me, it was interesting, and it's very deep for a kid's book, I thought, because it asks a lot of interesting and deep questions about religion and the effects it has on a society, along with, the origins of religious stories. So I found that incredibly interesting, that how deep it went for a kid's book.
Yeah, several times Box mentions in his inner monologue and when he's talking to some of the other characters, every great ruler uses religion, whether he believes in the religion or not. And I was like, oh, wow, Colfer. Okay, that's interesting. So, beyond that, don't worry about that part. It's really a very spellbinding story. Twists and turns. Colfer presents such a great tale, and it's more than just a page turner, even though it's a great page turner. You get to the end of it, and you're like, oh, I want to see what happens. There's sophistication, there's intelligence. It's the hallmark of really good fiction, even though this is a teen book. Yeah. The characters have a very human element to them. You can relate to a lot of what they're doing. And just like in The Reluctant Assassin, London is just as big of a character as the characters of themselves. You really get a picture of a sepia-colored London that's not really romantic like you think Victorian London would be.
Yeah, it's super gross.
Yes, it is.
It's super gross. I'm kind of rethinking my plans of time traveling back there just because it's super gross.
Dude, we already agreed. We go back to the 70s to get pictures of stuff at Walt Disney World and, ride the stuff that's no longer there.
Yeah, but I thought after that we'd go to... Okay, anyway.
Okay, we pinky sweared on that.
We did pinky, that's definitely happening.
Other things, okay.
Regardless, I loved this book. I thought it was great. I definitely recommend it. If you haven't read the first book, obviously read the first book first and then read this book, but I think it's great. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Oh, I do too. Even though it's, like other books we said, it's geared towards teens and tweens, adults that enjoy fast-paced and well-written stories, that enjoy time travel or Doctor Who, are going to love this book and the Warp series. We're both really excited about it. Want you to pick up a copy. I can do 2 thumbs up. I'll go back in time. There'll be 2 of me. We do 4 thumbs up. So that's like 6?
Okay, nice math, George.
Well, I mean, 4 from me and 2 from you.
Oh, okay.
Unless you go back in time and do it, then we got 8 thumbs up.
8 thumbs up from time-traveling Jeff and George.
Okay, so this week's book is The Hangman's Revolution, Warp Series 2, by Ian Colfer.
What we liked, what we didn't like, the A's and the booze. 60-second review.
You know, I don't really think it's a surprise to anyone that we say we are massive fans of anything that Marvel has done in the theaters these days. And that kind of also extends over to the television realm with Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 on DVD and Blu-ray. So I didn't actually watch the show on TV, unfortunately. I watched the first 2 episodes, and it was great, and then I just kind of lost track of it. I know you watched it on TV,
Oh,
George.
yeah, we watched it almost live as they were going, which was wonderful.
I would not have been able
wonderful.
to handle that, I don't think.
Had to marathon it.
Yeah. I mean, the first episode starts really strong, and then, there's a couple of clunkers in there, but, like, the last 2 discs, I don't think I would have been able to handle waiting to see what happened next, because every single one ended on this ridiculous cliffhanger, and it just got better and better and better and better. I mean, it was like a mini Marvel movie, each one. The story of, the S.H.I.E.L.D. agency and, their inner workings and
Agent Coulson.
And Agent Coulson, which that on its own is a whole interesting story.
That was a fantastic plot line, and meeting all the characters, May and Sky and Gemma. And why can I not remember any of the guys' names?
Because they're... Anyway, so... What I also, not only do they have really great stories on the show, but it also ties really well into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because you can feel the effects of the films, such as when Thor: The Dark World came out. Like, immediately the effects of that film were felt on the television show. And also when Captain America: The Winter Soldier came out and S.H.I.E.L.D. Is no more, you immediately at the last 7 episodes, the after effects of that were undeniably present in the TV show, and it was just great to see, and it, where the universe goes after the movie's over. And they had these incredible storylines that, on par with what we saw on movie screens, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. And we didn't get to watch the Blu-ray. We watched it live, so I know there were some extras.
Yes.
We always like to hear about the extras on the Blu-ray.
Of course. So there was a bunch of, there was 5 behind-the-scene field reports, and each of these got a little closer at some of the really big action set pieces, like Chloe's leap in The Assets or Lorelai's battles in Yes Men. And then there was a very good one that looked at the events of episode 17, Turn, which I won't spoil, but oh my, what an amazing episode that was.
Yes, it was.
It was fantastic. They also included, there was a TV show on ABC not too long ago called Assembling a Universe, about how, they did the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's included on the disc also. There's a couple of visual effects breakdowns, which for me as a movie nerd and digital arts nerd, it was really cool to see how, the original shot and how they built in all these digital effects and how seamless it was and how they film around it. That was really neat. An awesome gag reel, which was pretty long as far as gag reels go, and it was actually pretty hilarious. I'll give them that. And to me, I think the best feature was actually a look at their trip to San Diego Comic-Con from last year. And it kind of shows a really personable and human side to these actors and actresses. And, I don't think they were really prepared for the type of response that they got when they arrived there. And it was just kind of like a personal diary for them. And it was really cool just to see that kind of small glimpse into their life.
You touched on a little bit, and I think the real reason, this is, if you're a fan of the Marvel films, you need to watch this. You need to add it to your collection, because it ties in so many things. It brings in so many other parts of the Marvel universe together.
It adds so much more to the story.
Yes, but every television episode, like you said, the first 2 were really good. Then it sort of went weird, but then it kicked right in quickly and kept going. Each episode was almost like a mini film.
Yeah.
Reminded me a lot of the Sherlock episodes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That are so well done and so well told, and you're like, what? The production didn't feel like it was a television show. It felt like it was a movie production. Yeah,
which is exactly. Great. And they definitely keep a lot of the Marvel touches. Like, at the end of each episode, they had like the little stinger bit, 2 or 3 minute teaser for what what's coming next, like they do at the end of all the Marvel films. And I thought that was just fantastic. But overall, I thought this set was great. And again, like George said, if you're a fan of the Marvel films, you definitely need to watch this because it is so worth it. So I say pick it up today. Go for it, guys. Hail Hydra.
Sometimes you might see it, sometimes you don't. Hey, look, what's that? It's a five-legged goat.
After drinking a couple of rounds over at Trader Sam's, you should try to keep an eye out, because you might see some guys that come alive when nobody's around.
What?
So, I know, it's crazy, right? If you look high up on one of the shelves is actually a double-sided mug featuring the Tiki versions of Sheriff Woody and Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. And at the request of the director, this mug was actually created specifically for the Disney Pixar team members who worked on Toy Story 3.
Only 500 were made, and each one of them, they're individually numbered. Trader Sam managed to trade for 2 of them, so the next time you stop by, see if you can find them. I guess in this case, he got 2 heads for one of his?
It's usually the opposite deal with him.
It is, that's true.
But
that's true.
I guess it works out well for him.
We do it that way. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching and listening to another episode of Communicore Weekly.
Yes, please leave us a comment. Give us a rating on the good old iTunes. 9 stars, that's what we like.
Yes. Email us at communicoreweekly@gmail.com.
Of course, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Communicore Weekly, where we always post all sorts of fun things over there.
Yes. Lots of great Tony Baxter Tuesdays.
Yes, Tony Baxter
Exactly.
Tuesday. We had a lot of suggestions for Thursday, too. I think I might just change every Thursday, because the last Thursday
just do a different one.
was Thursday Gursday. So I think we'll just have a different Thursday theme every week.
So people could jump on Facebook and tell us.
Suggest a Thursday theme.
Yes, that'd be awesome. You can always follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Imaginerding, and he's at Jeff Heimbuck.
And of course, give us a call on the Communicore Weekly Goat line at 424-785-4628.
Yep, and pick up your copy of Communicore Weekly, the musical. You can listen to it on Spotify and Google Play for free, or purchase a copy on iTunes, CD Baby, or Amazon. Help support the Communicore Weekly Orchestra.
Heck yes.
Yep.
And please visit the Communistore. Go to communicoreweekly.com, click on the store link, buy some shirts. We got some great stuff on there. People have bought a lot of shirts lately, so thank you. We appreciate that, and we hope you enjoy wearing them and showing your pride, your Communipride in the parks.
Ooh, the Communipride, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Another trademark now, great.
Ding!
Gotta fill out the forms again.
Sorry, George, creating paperwork for you.
Okay, well, I guess it's time for us to go. For Jeff Heimbuck, I'm George Taylor.
And for George Taylor, I'm Jeff Heimbuck. Thanks so much for listening, guys and gals. We'll see you next time on Communicore Weekly, the greatest online show.